Hi there, this is Aaron, and I'm here with a video which is a new proof of the impossibility of the sphere-Earth model, which is pushed on us all. Obviously, there are lots of ways to prove that the surface of the Earth has no curvature and is flat. But what's unusual about this one is this is really, you could describe this as a glitch in the matrix, because what I've found is that actually there are events in history which have been somewhat covered up, it seems, because they don't really fit with the sphere-Earth model. So these events that I'm talking about are radio broadcasts. If you look back through the history of radio, obviously radio goes back far before the time that we're told there were satellites and all sorts of other things. In fact, they go back to valve technology. Broadcasts are made from masts, and if you have a single mast broadcasting at any point on the Earth, shall we say, if obviously it was a globe, imagine a single mast broadcasting. Electromagnetic radiation travels in straight lines. The mast would not be able to broadcast around the curvature of the Earth. Now, if you look at, if you talk to shills and so on about radio, then they will, and you say to them, how is it these radio broadcasts have reached, all this way around the world? They will try and tell you that there's relays all over the place. However, back in the early part of the 20th century, no such thing existed. When radio was first used, there were broadcasts done which are impossible in the sphere-Earth model, and the powers that be have tried to suppress knowledge of this. So if you were to go to the Wikipedia page, for example, on the history of radio broadcasting, you wouldn't see anything suspicious. If you try to look back at the early history of the British public broadcasts, which were known as the Empire Service, you won't really be able to find any details, because there are people that have been working quite hard to put all this down a memory hole. The Empire Service was the precursor to what's now known as the BBC World Service, and the Empire Service was broadcast from the UK and was broadcast to the entire British Empire. Now, the British Empire, in order to reach all parts of the British Empire, broadcasting from London, you are broadcasting across the entire known world. This is impossible unless the world is flat, essentially, because how would any mast be able to transmit around significant parts of the curvature of the Earth? It's completely impossible. So the Empire Service was in fact proving by its very existence that the sphere is impossible. However, it's very difficult to find details on this. So I've been looking for some time, hunting around for proof that these broadcasts were made, proof which is still actually available in the public domain. And I finally found some interesting proof when I came across a documentary from 1953. Now, this documentary was about transistors, about how the invention of transistors was going to change everything, which of course it did. And in one part of the documentary, it starts talking about broadcasts that were made from Arlington, Virginia in 1915. Now, these were made from a set of masts, and these radio broadcasts were picked up in Paris and Hawaii, according to this documentary, which is produced by various firms, including, I think, General Electric. And this documentary in 1953, they must have realised after that this is one of the items they'd better hide away.